Hello, good evening. Welcome to my channel, The Songbird Stamper, on a Thursday evening, 8 p.m. UK time. My name is Heather Thomas, and I'm an independent demonstrator from Fareham in the United Kingdom. A bit bright, sorry. Trying to get the lighting right in the winter is difficult. But yes, I would say look at this brand new shiny catalogue, but it's not very brand new and shiny, is it? It's a bit battered and bruised, to be honest, but it is a catalogue. Or maybe I'll go and get a nice shiny one for you. Hey Joanna, nice to see you this evening. I hope everybody is well. Here's a nice new shiny catalogue compared to my beaten up and bruised one. And to go with it somewhere, it's Celebration. Celebration starts today. Ah, I'm crafting on the big screen, Anne-Marie. That's amazing. I love being on the big screen. All my crafty floors in in highlights. So yeah, big day today. Thank you. Hi Lisa, nice to see you this evening. Oh, hello Sue. Thank you for popping on. Ah, thank you Louise. Do you know what? It totally slipped my mind. I knew I had a few bits and bobs to do this morning. Totally forgotten it was new catalogue day. So hurriedly on the website, changing everything up, getting all the links in, all the new catalogue widgets. Yeah, so loads to do, but really, really good to have this finally go live to you guys, my customers. So if you're a demonstrator, obviously this is kind of old news. It's been around for a while, but Celebration finally goes live to customers today. If for those of you, I'll quickly run through it before we get crafting. For those of you who don't know, Celebration is from 5th of January to 28th February, and basically there's free stuff in this catalogue that you can earn for free. All you've got to do is spend £45. So this one here, look, free with a £45 spend. Trying to decide your order at the moment. Oh, hey Eloise, nice to see you this evening. There's so much to choose from, isn't there? So yeah, this says £45. So if you spend £45, you can pick up one of these for free. Same with the papers, same with these papers, same with the stamp set. So loads of lovely stuff in here. That stamp set as well, that's a good one. Thanks a bunch. Exactly, Claire. You'll get this tomorrow for everybody at my classes over the coming month. I'll be sending a couple out in the post, or you'll pick one up in class. This is free. These papers are gorgeous. Hello, Carol. Nice to see you this evening. This stamp set, £45, and then you come on to the £90 purchase one. So if you spend £90, you can grab this stamp set for free. This is a good one. This is like an infill, but I've also coloured this in with the Stampin' Blends. Me too, Claire. Looking forward to tomorrow. And you can get a whole stack of 48 sheets of 12 by 12 paper free with a £90 purchase. That will keep you in supply with paper for a long time, I would suggest. And then this right at the back is if you were to host, or if your order goes over, I think it's 275. I think that's right. Then you can pick one of those up for free as well. And look, the new blue catalogue. No, blue mini cutting boss machine. This is like a sneak peek at a colour that's going to be coming out, and I can't wait. So excited for new colours in May. So in May, we're going to get a new load of in colours, and this is going to be one of them. Boho Blue, it's called. So if you did want to join the team in the next kind of 2 months, then there's fab offers here as well for you. So you can get £170 worth of product for only £99. Or you can up your spend from 99 to 125, still get the 170, and add on a mini machine, either in white or blue. So loads of choices there for you, loads of good stuff. And any questions, you know where I am, give me a shout or have a look on my website, especially if you join the team. There's loads of questions, FAQs on my website. Just go to www.thesongbirdsstamper.co.uk. And I checked with them, I checked with my upline. I was like, I can show this, right? Yeah. It's been such a long time where I haven't been able to show you the inside of the catalogue. I can now show you. So I'm not going to go through it all. I might pop on and do a live at some point, but today is not the day. Today is crafting. But I might pop on and do a live video. Or you can get this online. If you go to my Facebook page, look for all the recent posts, you can see a link to this online. So one of the things I love about the catalogue, if anybody ever misses it, is this bit from Sarah Douglas. right at the beginning. She answers a few questions. So we're going to have a play with this stamp set and bundle. Now we used this a couple of weeks ago, last week, a couple of weeks ago. I really like it. I wasn't sure I would at first. It's this one. I really, really like it. So I'm going to get playing with that one, and watercolouring and a bit of a heat embossing. So, oh, the other thing I meant to show you, because I don't know how many people have missed this, in the catalogue, you can now sometimes, only sometimes, choose between cling and photopolymer. Our stamp sets have always been one or the other. You either have cling or you have photopolymer. But now, when you look to order, look in the catalogue and you see C or P. C is red rubber, like I've got here. And P is photopolymer, which is the clear acrylic, like this one. So if you have a preference, make sure you get the right one. That's really useful to know, because I totally overlooked that. They didn't even mention that on stage, I don't think. I totally overlooked it and just happened to see something in the catalogue. Okie dokie, so Fragrant Flowers. What colours? What colours are we going with? Blushing Bride. Yuck. Can I hear you all say yuck? But actually, I'm going to show you a way to make Blushing Bride look quite pretty. Granny Apple Green and Polished Pink. So good standard pink and green. You could do this with any colours you wanted to, though. I really ought to divert sometimes off my standard, but you know, I like what I like, and that is pinks, purples, and greens. So I'm going to get crafting. What we need is white embossing powder. Not throwing it all over the floor this time would be good. Ah, hey Anita. You're right, Eloise. It is Marmite, and the papers are quite dark, but I really like that rich purple that I've got in one of them. So I need my Versamark, white heat emboss powder, a block. Can you tell I'm ready for this? Not at all. Thought I was. Turns out I wasn't even anywhere near prepared. Ah, hey Becky, nice to see you. How is life treating you? So I would normally run this over with my embossing buddy. I must have a bag of craft stuff somewhere, because I've lost my embossing buddy and I've lost my take your pick tool. I don't know where they've gone, so I can't. Otherwise, I would be rubbing this over with my embossing buddy. But it is white, so it's not the end of the world. White embossing powder onto white card. Ah, Louise, there is so much you would like. That is the problem, sadly. And we can't get it all. And it's only 4 months this catalogue is available for. So it's a tough one. It really is a tough one. You'll have to see what I demonstrate, but I know you had your eye on the dainty flowers. So I'm just going to emboss this. I'm going to stamp it off the page. So I hope you can see that. So it's kind of come off the edges a little bit. And I'm going to stamp one up the other corner as well. So opposite corners. Again, stamping it off the page a little bit. Such a big stamp. It sometimes doesn't actually feel like it's stamping very well, but invariably it stamps perfectly. And then I'm just going to pick this up and give this a coat in the embossing powder. Tap off the excess, and then I'm going to turn it around and do the other side. I'm yet to treat myself to the tray. There's a red tray in the catalogue. I'm like, oh, I could get stamps though. I could get stamps and dies instead of getting a tray. I know which I prefer, but honestly, it'd probably make my life easier if I had a tray to do my heat embossing. So there's one. I'm just going to put that to the side. I'm going to try and do all the kind of heat embossing in one go. And then I've just got a little scrap. This is I should have said this is watercolour cardstock. Sorry, bad demonstrator. This is watercolour cardstock that I'm using because we're going to be adding some watercolour to it. And that's one of the reasons that I left, when I'm stamping, I'm just leaving the, I'll show you, it's easier to show you. So ink that up and then stamp that down. And I'm just leaving that on there a little bit longer than I would do normally. And I'm pressing maybe a little bit harder. The watercolour paper is textured. And so you just need to make sure the ink has actually gone into, oh sorry, that's my head, gone into the paper. Okay, so there's 2 of those little flowers as well, 2 of these little ones, one big one either side, and then 2 of these little ones. And then we will ink that up as well. So I can't wait for this summer to come, and then I can do away with my lights. We can have proper light for Alive again. The days are getting longer though, aren't they? Starting to notice it. Although I learned something recently, and that is that whilst the winter solstice and the shortest day is on the 21st of the month, the earliest sunset is actually on the 13th of the month this year, and the latest sunrise on the 31st. So we've only just had the latest sunrise, so the mornings will start to feel lighter now, but they've been getting worse all the way up until the end of December. Anyway, fun fact. I'm just going to heat emboss this now, so excuse the noise. Oh, apologies about that. I wonder, is that really noisy? Is that really noisy? I know some fancy phones get rid of the noise when people heat emboss. Don't think my camera does. Lovely to see you. Yeah, thrilling viewing. Apologies, I can't fast forward that bit, sadly. So you can't really see unless I hold that up to the light. But I've just heat embossed those on one other side. They look really pretty. This would look really nice done in gold as well onto a darker cardstock, I reckon. And just kind of left plain. I did do this onto vellum in my playing around, seeing what we were going to do today. I did heat emboss this onto vellum and it looks stunning, but it wasn't quite right. So that's that. I've got my water painter. Stampin' Up water painters come in a pack of 3. You get a small, a medium, and a kind of thick brush, a really thick brush. I'm just going to choose the kind of medium one. And I have got a pot of water. I don't know what I do to my brushes, just because I find that a little bit easier. If I'm on the go, then a water painter is fab. But if I'm here at my desk, I find it a bit easier to have a pot of water. And I've got Blushing Bride. It looks disgusting. It looks disgusting. I probably shouldn't say that, should I? But it's just a bit of a manky pink, this one. However, we're going to use it to paint these flowers. And so the first thing I'm going to do is try and figure out where the flowers are, to be honest with you. It's quite a difficult stamp set to see. The first time I did this, what I did was use the stamp as a guide. So I kind of had this in front of me. orientated the right way around so I could see what was what. But I'm just going to pop a little bit of water down before I do anything else on that flower. And then I'm going to make a really quite a weak solution of this Blushing Bride and just all over put that down. Not being pedantic, I'm not being fussy about where the colour goes. As long as it kind of goes it kind of in the lines and all over there, then that's great. I've got a bit of polished pink, and I'm just going to pick up some of that. I didn't even rinse my brush, but that's fine. And I'm just going to go round, and again, quite loosely, I'm just popping some colour, not all over, just like in a concentric circles, if you like. Now, I don't know whether to pick some of that up. In the middle of this, I've got Wink of Stella, because I've in a minute we'll do a bit of painting with Wink of Stella, a bit of flicking with Wink of Stella, but you could also paint with Wink of Stella. So just a real loose, I hope this shows up on camera as well as it kind of looks in person, just a real kind of loose watercolour effect there. And you can go in and add more, take some away, play around with it, see how you see fit. I think it's fascinating how different people love or loathe various colours. Definitely some of them joined. Yes, less inspired. Oh, it's just, I don't know. Yeah, it's one of those colours, isn't it? But you're right. We've all got our own kind of taste. Now this is a little bit more tricky. So when you watercolour, the theory is that you shouldn't watercolour one area next to another that's just been coloured. You should wait for one to dry. This, where I'm doing such a loose effect, I'm not really going to worry too much. But yeah, these two work quite well together. In Blushing Bride, when used, I think that's a petal. Blushing Bride, when used weak or watercoloured or sponged, can actually look quite nice. So I'm just going to pick some ink up on a block and use that as a palette for my polished pink here. And while it's still wet, oh yes, it's a very brown. I mean, it's great for piggies, that kind of thing. Anything with a brown undertone. But yeah, it looks totally different when it's used with watercolouring, I think anyway. And then right in the centre, I'm just doing more of that polished pink because the centre of your flowers are going to be tighter. Going to be a tighter knit, so the light won't get in there, so they'll be darker, and you won't see so much of that lightness. That's it. So that's two of the flowers done. I'll do all of the flowers first, I think, and then we'll go on to do the leaves. This is really fun. I love watercolouring with heat embossing because I don't feel like I've got to be too accurate. I feel like I can be a lot freer than I could be if I was doing something a bit more kind of line image. This is just free floating flowers. And again, just popping in and letting that colour naturally wick whilst the cardstock is still wet. Not forgetting to use that watercolour cardstock. Oh, I hate it when, oh, isn't that interesting? See, I love petal pink, but yeah, do you like Blushing Bride instead? Hoping for a nice, with that baby blue, that boho blue. Come on, Stampin' Up, give us a nice baby pink. I know we've got 4 months to wait, but I can wait. I don't need it today. And again, this second flower, and then just add some. Don't get me wrong, I love a brights are normally mine, I think. I'm a brights girl. None of the I love all of the kind of hot pinks that we've got. I'm just going to pick up a bit more of that ink because I've used it all. Yep, you're a girl after my own heart, Joanna. I love the brights. That was the first collection that I bought when I joined, and I knew I wanted ink pads. I'm so glad I found Stampin' Up as early as I did in my crafting journey. I have a massive craft room full of things that don't match. Okay, so that's our second flower done, I think. Yep, I'm pleased with that. So I am just going to go in and now move that to one side. Oh, Regals, Katie. We're friends as well. No, not for me. No, not so much a Regals fan. All these autumn colours, they're gorgeous, but don't really float my boat as well. So this one again, I'm just doing exactly the same technique. Just I've got a bit too much water down there maybe, but we'll go with it. Just pick up some of that polished pink and just coming round and round in circles. If you've got too much water, it's just going to flood. So you can take a little bit of tissue and just soak up a little bit of that water, because otherwise you won't get the definition. And then down to really dark in the centre. Oh, gorgeous grape. Just a girl with royal ambition. Too true, Katie, too true. Right, so that's on there. A little bit of blushing bride just as the undertone. Again, not too much because it looks better when it's watered right down, this colour for me. It just gives that variation. And then sometimes I start in the middle and sometimes I'll start on the edges. I don't think there's any kind of rhyme or reason. And again, really not thinking about this too much. Just going on and popping some ink down. That's it. So now we can move on to the greens. So I've forgotten, I've got Granny Apple Green and Garden Green. Here's what I've got here. So let's wipe that off. Probably ought to give my acrylic blocks a good old clean. So we'll move back to one that's dry because you asked me how I know, the pink and the green don't mix very well. Just turns it brown. May have made that mistake as I was preparing for this. So just going to pop some water down on the leaves. And then go in with that gorgeous colour, Granny Apple Green. And then a tiny little bit of Garden Green just at the base, just to give that a little bit of definition, a little bit of interest using those two colours. Ah, hello Caroline. How's Australia today? Oh, snap, Katie. How are you doing over the other side of the world? What time of day is it with you? I'm terrible with time zones. Again, a little bit of water down here. Thank you for hopping on and joining us. And then on that one there. And then we'll go back in. There's a couple of extra little bits which we'll have to kind of go back to. I want to get these base bits done first. Oops, there's quite a lot of darker green. That's fine. And then again, some of that garden green. Garden green and Granny Apple Green work so well together. Just to add a bit of depth in there. Ah, hello Gina, nice to see you. Twice in one day, once in person, once on virtual. Right, so I'm just going to add a tiny little bit of this. I'm not wetting this first. These are so thin and delicate. These little bits here. It's like the little buds that are coming out. So I'm just adding in, and the little leaves. You know how you get around the base of a flower? You just get those little leafy bits. So I'm just adding those in now. Oh, who's looking forward to watching The Apprentice later? I must admit, I thought they weren't going to do it this year. I think it's later. Is it normally on in the new year? I thought it was normally on before Christmas, but I could be wrong. So there's the green bits. You won't really, to be honest, I probably won't even see these when I've got the finished card done, but it seems silly not to do them just in case you can see them. I'm just popping a little bit of polished pink in those buds. And again, if you were doing this properly, you would wait at this point to make sure that your green is dry, because you don't want green and pink to mix together. So they're just going to add there. And I forgot to do, so that's our finished. It's not finished, obviously, the card, but I love that. I love how those roses have come out. 7:25 a.m. Early morning. Beautiful sunny morning. We're like, oh wow, we could have done that today with that here. To be honest, Caroline, it's been wet and wintry all day. To be honest, it feels like it's been wet and wintry for about a month now. It's been I've had a couple of 2 days I've managed to get in the garden, I think, where it hasn't been freezing cold or raining. So I've just got quite a lot of weeding to do. I get just doing these leaves, popping a little bit of water down, a bit of granny apple green. If you didn't see how I did that with my ink pad, I just closed it like that and then squeezed it gently. Some take that quite well, some don't, and you have to use an acrylic block, but if I can, I'll tend to squeeze it into the lid. A month or more. Yeah, it has been a long time. No, I'm not a massive fan. Russ loves it. Actually, we work quite well together because he loves autumn, winter. I love spring, summer, and it might make him sound a bit weird. He doesn't like summer. It's too hot for him. He likes the crisp chill of a winter and cozying up inside under a duvet. So we balance each other out. Basically, neither of us. We're never both happy, but at least one of us is all year round. Okay, so that is those. We are going to use a polished pink cardstock base, and we are going to score it with my runaway scorer, which I found today at 10.5. So it's 21 by 14.5, scored in half at 10.5. Yeah, that obviously wasn't big enough to start with. 2 secs, let me get a new piece. That obviously wasn't 21 to start with. So 14.5. Just basically half a sheet of A4. Scored in half at 10.5. Oh, on your bucket list to visit the UK. Oh, you must, Caroline. I do love the UK, I must say. Especially the area I live, the South Downs, near the coast, with the South Downs, the hills and the rolling countryside. Just beautiful. Just beautiful. Oh yes, Katie, wouldn't that be fun? Yeah, there's a few of us around here. We could do a little mini get together. So that's basically going to go on there like that. And doesn't that tie in well with that polished pink cardstock base? So I'm going to cut another piece of cardstock to, I don't know what yet because I haven't measured it. Hang on. 6.5 by 9.5. So I can use this piece that didn't go according to plan, because that's actually 9.5. 6.5. Now, here it comes to, I'm just going to try, I might just bone fold that. When you use watercolour cardstock, it is slightly off-white. So, in theory, if you were putting a panel on here, you ought to kind of, if you want it to marry in exactly, cut it out of watercolour cardstock as well. So 6.5 by 9.5 would be 9. Was it 6.5 or was it 6? It's 9 by 6. And that just means that it kind of ties in and it all looks the same. You can absolutely use white, and on my other sample I have used white, but I'm just showing you what I would suggest is probably the better way to do it if you can do, just because the colours are off otherwise. John hates summer, can't stand the heat. Yeah, 100%, just like Russ. It could be a card front, exactly, Katie. You could literally just do that with the greeting on. I might have gone a bit OTT, as I normally do, but we're going to do a bookmark in a minute, which is basically just going to be this, because I thought it was really, really pretty. Really pretty. Been watching but couldn't sign into comment for some reason. Oh, operator error. More than likely, Mary, bless you. It normally is when we can't do things, isn't it? I'm normally sitting there shouting at it, but it's normally my fault. So these two, they do have dies, but I'm just going to fussy cut them. I do need the dies in a minute though, because we're going to draw in a little bit of vellum to this as well. I thought it was quite a soft, subtle project. So vellum kind of shouted out to me to be used alongside this white on white heat embossing. Always kind of looks quite subtle. But yeah, I thought I have left a border. I left a little border when I'm fussy cutting. You could cut right up to the line, but you don't have to. Your nerve and joint pain is always worse in the autumn. Yeah, autumn and winter. That's why they reckon a lot of people move abroad, because their pain is worse in the winter. Cold doesn't do it any good. I must admit, I've been for a swim today, and one of the few motivators for me going for a swim. I do love swimming, but one of the few motivators for me going is the jacuzzi and sauna afterwards. Lovely. Delightful it was. Sometimes I really do think I made the right decision not having children. I was in the jacuzzi in the steam room at school pickup time. Right. So that's going to go on there, and that's going to go on there. Now, I'm just going to do a little bit of ink flicking first. So I thought this is where I used the Wink of Stella. And all I've done is just put a little bit of ink into, and you can see it there, shimmery and shiny. Just put a little bit of ink, as I did do with the watercolouring. I'm just going to reactivate that actually, because it's still glittery. All I did was squeeze the Wink of Stella and got a drop of it out. And then I'm just going to, really should mask those leaves, but I'm trying to be lazy. So I'm just doing it the lazy style method of masking. Oh, that's a big blob. Quite like having bigger and smaller blobs, but sometimes it's hard to get the bigger ones with the Wink of Stella. So just adding a little bit. There is a die set to go with the stamp set, Gina. I'm getting it out just in a second because it is lovely. It cuts out the big flower, cuts out the little flower, and then it's got a couple of little, oh, I just want to ink flick this as well. It's got a couple of extra leaves to go with it as well. Oh, and yes, Mary, love a Wink of Stella. For anyone who doesn't have one of these in your life, you need one now. So head to the shop to buy one. Love a Wink of Stella. I'm just popping a little bit again, just on the opposite corners of this, and hopefully will make sense when you see it. So there and there. We can leave that to dry a little bit. To get the colour out of your Wink of Stella, all I normally do, grab a little bit extra piece of cardstock and run it over. Now, the reason I do this is because you know what we crafters are like. You can then use that to die cut something out of, and you've got a lovely glittery and shiny piece of cardstock, and that will just run clear after a while. So, I mean, I don't tend to do this all the time, Wink of Stella and colour, because it does use the Wink of Stella up, but it looks so pretty that it's worth it from time to time. And then that's run clear, and you've just got a glittery piece of cardstock. There we go. That would be amazing, Kate, when you visited Tasmania in 2019. Oh, you got in touch with a team member. Oh, isn't that nice? Oh, that's lovely. And to catch up again on stage as well. How cool is that? That's the nice thing, isn't it? We've all got crafty friends all over the world, which is brilliant. So, where are the dies, Gina? Where did I put them? What do you reckon? Good question. Did I tidy up? See, I told you I wasn't ready. Let's have a look in my big pile of dies. I'll try not to take too long. Now, they've called the die sets the same as the stamp sets now. So my die set will be Fragrant Flowers, which is actually quite handy. I don't have to remember two names. Fragrant Flowers, there we go. Right at the bottom of the pile. So this is the die set that comes with it. Beautiful. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Oh, excuse me. So you get these little buds. This one cuts out the big flower. This one cuts out the little flower. This is really cool. So this isn't actually a cutting die. It's an embossing die. So if you put that through, it will emboss that pattern into the cardstock, which I think is quite cool. And yes, get your Wink of Stella to boost you to the next celebration item. Exactly that, Katie. And 2 leaves. So we're going to use this one. And there's a big one as well. They're really, really nice. And then these. So this 2 little things cuts out the friend and the love. And then this one fits the thanks and the hello. So oh, thank you. So this is really, really nice die set. Oh yeah, 100% Mary. I don't know who in their right mind thought it was a good idea to have different names for the stamps and the dies. Katie, you're absolutely right. It is half the fun of Stampin' Up, the community. I was literally just talking about that today, and the friendships that are made, which you don't get with any other craft brand. Well, not that I know of, but yeah, I didn't experience that outside of Stampin' Up. So this should just wait to dry, really. But obviously, we've got work to do, so we need to carry on and get this sorted. So I'm just going to try and be as careful as I can be to not smudge this. So I'm going to use on this occasion Tombow multipurpose liquid glue, and certainly for this little panel that will be fine. However, when you've heat embossed and watercolored a piece of cardstock, it can warp slightly, and I'll show you that on the big piece. So what I would normally use is a tape runner or a flat tape, because I just think it sticks it down better instantly. This Tombow will dry, but it struggles to keep it flat in the beginning instance. So you can just see it's warped ever so slightly. Oh, an embossing dart. Oh, you've not heard of that? Oh, Anita, shall I show you? I'll show you in a minute. Oh, look, I've got a scrap piece of paper and my mini machine here. So I am going to use, because I don't want to turn it over and pop it upside down right now because it's wet. So I am going to use just a little bit of Tombow glue. But normally I would turn this over and use a tape runner. The Stampin' Seal Plus is what I would normally go for. So again, it doesn't matter which way around this goes, and they're both the same. See, I have smudged that a little bit. It's not the end of the world. I'm just being really careful here to try and push it down. Can you see what I mean? It's not, because the cardstock is bent, it doesn't stick as well. It will stick eventually, but it takes a little bit more work than a tape runner. So I'll come back to that in a second and give that another little stick down. In the meantime, I'm going to cut out of another little piece of watercolour cardstock the banner die here. Now I'm going to stamp it first and then die cut it. I've gone for the hello stamp set, hello stamp, because I want to chop the end of this off. You'll see what I mean. So the thanks wouldn't quite fit. So this is the polished pink again, and the hello, and I'm going to put it more over to the right hand side. Okay, so this is why I used white, you see, because it doesn't stamp as well onto textured cardstock. I could use the Stamparatus. I'm just going to try and see if I hold it down a little bit longer whether the ink will soak in. No, it doesn't look, it doesn't, it's because it's textured cardstock. So if you're going for that look, it's fab. If you're not going for that look, use a little bit of white. I would suggest. Just use a little bit of scrap white cardstock. Yes. Third time lucky. Lovely. And then we can die cut that one. And at the same time, I will die cut the embossing die and let you have a look at it. So I'm just doing that onto a piece of polished pink cardstock. And then this one, I'm just lining up so that the hello is not in the middle. You can't see, can you? So the hello is not in the middle. I want it over to one edge, one end, the right hand end. Okay, there we go. It's a good tip to wait a while when stamping any sentiment to make sure it's even. Yes, it is absolutely, Mary. Yeah, you should count a few seconds when you stamp for sure, just to make sure it's all gone down evenly. Definitely a good tip. So that's the embossing die. That's totally not. So I mean, it would look much better if it was straight on the cardstock, but it just embosses that pattern into that cardstock. Gives you a really nice background. Yeah, you don't see many of these. Don't see many embossing dies. But if it hasn't got a sharp edge, it's just got flat ridges. That's what that one will be. But you don't get too many of those. Now we need a tiny little piece of vellum, a couple of pieces. I want to cut 3 of these leaves. I'm going to chop this. It's great, isn't it? I'm glad to have shown you something new tonight, Anita. You're a seasoned crafter as well. I know I've got scraps of vellum, but I just don't know where they are. I had a bit of a sort out the other day. So sadly, I'm going to have to use a new piece. So I'm just going to make sure this is big enough for my leaf. Could cut it that way around actually. A bit more efficient. Okay. And then we'll cut 3 of these. I should have done this before, apologies. you get to see this little mini machine. This is the one that you can get for joining the team during celebration. £125 gets you £175 worth of product of your choice. You don't get dictated to, you get to choose. And you get one of these mini machines as well in with that price. So look, that's the leaf that it cuts out, just in that soft vellum. Very pretty. Hoping to get a bookmark made today as well. I don't know how some people make 3 cards in a live. I feel like I'm being fairly quick as well, but I just don't seem to get anything done. Right, there's the second one, and the third one's coming up. I've just seen Joanna, your comment. You've got several Wink of Stella. Good girl. I like that. Yeah, mine was just, I've just invested in a new one. That one there is a brand new one, which is why I didn't mind using it. Kind of dripping the ink down and really using it because it was brand new. And I know it's got loads of life in it. So this is still really wet. It's taking an age to dry. I could pop my heat tool onto it, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to try and be really, really careful. Let's see how that goes, huh? I'm not renowned for being careful. I'm going to try. I'm going to try really hard. So I'm going to stick some of these on the back dimensionals. Okay. And then this is going to, as centrally as possible, which is hard. Pop that down like that. I think it's straight. I'm never entirely sure. Then we've got our 2 flowers, which I'm just going to try and shape ever so slightly. Oh, it is nice not to be doing Christmas cards, but I think I've lost the plot this year because I've already bought Christmas presents. I've bought wrapping paper, like brown paper. I'm gonna stamp it, and I've bought twine. I'm gonna wrap the presents. I'm gonna make the tags. Oh, these are the biggest dimensionals. Yes, Mary. Yeah, they're the biggest ones. And I'm gonna make some Christmas cards like as I go. I just felt so unprepared for Christmas. Like I feel like I do Christmas again now. I don't actually feel like I've had Christmas. It's been one of those years. I just feel like I could do it right now. I'm ready. I'm ready now. I wasn't ready last month. And we went away for Christmas, so it's not even like we had family around or had to do anything. If we had, maybe I would have felt a little bit more prepared. But yeah, so I've never ever bought presents in the sales before, but I have this year. I've gone and done it. I've become that person. Yeah, you went for white. I went for brown, but yeah, I thought this year, and I got the brown. I was really good, and I even got the brown like paper tape as well. I went and bought some paper tape. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I'm feeling organised, Katie. I don't think it'll last. I've had a good. It's 5th of January. I've had a good 5 days, and we'll that'll be the end of that probably. But I'm trying this year to be a bit more organised. Birthday cards have gone out, are going out for January. Yeah, we'll see, shall we? See how long it lasts. So this sentiment, because I want this on dimensionals as well, I should note to tell you. Oh, hello, Louise. Nice to see you. I've got 2 on that side, 1 and 1. 2, 1 and 1. I hope you can see. Because this is already on dimensionals. So in order to put this down like this, it needs 2 here and 1 where it's over here. So that's going to go just like that. Now, we can put some leaves on if we choose to. I quite like these. So I'm just going to pop a tiny bit of glue. I'm just popping it on at the base of the leaf. And I'm going to, again, try not to disturb my splattering. Yeah, gotta get them done early, isn't it, Mary? Yeah, I guess I don't, because I wait for the like when I'm actually demonstrating them and the new products and stuff. But what I plan to do this year is actually get them made. Kind of, I don't want to write them maybe, but in the envelopes, addressed, ready to go, so that I don't have to, because I didn't have enough this year. I thought, I've made loads. Actually, when it came down to it, I hadn't made enough to give one to everybody that I wanted to. Someone even ended up, I really had to give them a Christmas card, but I didn't have any. I didn't have time to make any, so they ended up getting just a normal card written as a Christmas card. It's terrible, isn't it? Right, so that's going down there like that. Just a couple of leaves, just to, come on camera, just to kind of flesh it out, pad it out, and make it look really, really pretty. I do love, oh look, I've smudged it. And what I'm going to have to do is go in, don't stop touching it, Heather, with my, that's really annoying me. So I'll show you how to fix this, because, you know, invariably you guys might do this too. Grab yourself a sheet of tissue paper. Watercolour stuff can normally be remedied. So grab yourself a sheet of tissue paper, grab yourself some water, and where you've smudged it all over, I don't want to zoom the camera in because we had disasters last time. Where you've smudged it all over, you're just going to go and add water all over that area. And then what you're going to go and do is in like that, and then it basically removes it. I do this a lot when I watercolour. So again here, I'm just going to go in. I am actually going to do that whole blob because it's just annoying me. And then as small, because you don't want to touch everything else, just as small as dab as you can, and go in and dab that off. And then that removes those big kind of marks. You might need to do it a couple of times. Sometimes it won't get rid of it indefinitely, especially with a pink or a red ink or it stains. But you can normally get rid of the worst of it, so it's not staring you in the face. And then you can just go back in and add a few more blobs afterwards, which is what I'll probably do. But for now, I'm just going to try not to touch it too much. So, embellishment wise, thanks, Gina. Oh, I'm so pleased you loved your Christmas card. That means a lot to me, Anne-Marie. I did send a couple of decent ones. So I've got these pink embellishments, but I'm not convinced they're right. Maybe these, no, white ones as well. Again, probably shouldn't be doing this when it's all still wet, to be honest, because I run the risk of. So I may, let's just leave it at that. I may put some embellishments on there. What I did have, however, are these stunning flat adhesive back pearls. They actually come with the By the Bay suite. And I have said them as I've made it. Yes, Louise. So if you watch back the video, you will see them. But they're really quickly, if you grab a pen, so that you can jot them down, save you having to do that. These are pink. These are like, they've got pinky undertones, and they're just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. So I've got a couple of these going on. Love the larger spots on the top and main colour at the top. Yeah, that one and that one. Just tied them together. Pure accident, Mary. I can promise you that. And again, I'm trying not to touch any of it, so I don't have to remove them. But those big pearls, I think, just really set that off beautifully. And that is that. So then, Louise, sorry, this is card base 21 by 14.5, scored in half at 10.5, and the mat is 14 by 10. The pink in a bit is 6.5 by 9.5, and this bit here then is 6 by 9. 6 by 9. Okay, so well, it's 5-2. I had planned to make a bookmark But I'm going to do that offline, and I'll share that when I share these on my social media. But really simple to make. I'm using a retired tag topper punch here, and I am going to just cut a length. I don't know how long yet, 2 inches wide, and then I'm going to tag topper it. I could do that bit, but I haven't got time to make it all within the hour. Sadly, I do like to try and stick to an hour, so you guys and I know what we're up to. I say I never really seem to get a great deal done. Sadly, you like to case as an idea for card using different set. Oh, of course you can case the layout. That's what we create for people to be inspired. So I am pleased to have inspired you. I don't know whether that's worked properly or not. Oh, it has. There we go. So there's just a piece of card, just a piece of watercolor cardstock. It's a really simple bookmark we're making. All these could be gift tags. And all I'm going to do is stamp that large stamp right over it like this. I'm going to watercolor that, and I'm going to put a bit of ribbon in the top, and that's going to be that. Yeah, I don't think it needs anything more doing to it. So I shall bring the good stuff back in. Use carnage around my desk. Thanks, Louise. I'm really pleased you like it. Really pleased. Always better to overplan than be wondering. Yes, exactly. If that had only taken 45 minutes, then I'd be like, what am I going to do now? Definitely. Bless you. Thank you, Anita. I'm really glad you liked it. Will you add ribbon or as a tassel? Ribbon. Yeah, I don't do tassels. I don't think I've ever made a tassel. Maybe that's my challenge. I don't think I've ever made a tassel. Maybe once. Maybe it didn't go so well. I didn't want to do it. Didn't do it again. They really do. The layers, the pink and the white, really work well together. So a little bit of watercolouring fun for you. Obviously, all these products can be purchased through my online store, all the details of which are in the description below. If anybody fancies heading over there, have a lovely week. What am I doing next week? I should be here. I should be here next Thursday evening. You could leave it blank too. You could leave that blank too. I guess that was the question as well. Totally lost me there, Katie. Apologies. Oh, you're welcome, Anita. I'm really pleased you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for hopping on, guys. Really, really good to see you. I love doing these Thursday night lives, but as I always say, couldn't do it without you hopping on and chatting to me. Otherwise, I'd be just sat here talking to myself for an hour, and that's not as fun. So thanks, guys. Look after yourself. Have a fabulous week. Any questions about anything you've seen? Any questions about ordering? Any questions about joining up? Anything you want to talk about? I love talking crafting, so good. Give me a message. Send me a message, and we'll have a chat. And not have a ribbon. You could leave it blank, but no, I will. Thanks, Bex. Thanks, Katie. Thanks, everybody, for chatting. Take care, and I'll see you all again really, really soon. Bye for now. Bye, guys.